Hey, it's Alex Ratcliffe from BoardGameCo, and today I'm going to be reviewing Project L. I'm going to briefly go into a how to play video, quick overview, not overly intensive, but give you a general feel of the game, and from there, let's go into my review, my final thoughts. So Project L is really a very simple game as soon as you understand that it's less a Polyomino game and far more an engine building game where sequencing and optimization are more important than your ability to fit Tetris shapes into a puzzle. And the way that game works is let's put this back over here. On your turn you have one of three actions. You can either take a puzzle piece, specifically a level 1 puzzle piece over here, or you can upgrade a puzzle piece. You can take this and then you can take one of your existing puzzle pieces and perhaps upgrade this to a level 3 puzzle piece over here, or you can take a puzzle, or you can place a piece into a puzzle, or you can do a master action, and those are important, where you place one piece into every puzzle in front of you. So I'll just go through a few quick turns, and I'm just going to do this as if I were one player, but obviously we'd be taking turns. And so on my first turn, I'm going to go ahead and take this puzzle over here, which is great, okay, awesome. Then this new one comes out over here. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this one too for my second action, and then a new one will come out. And then for my third action, I'm going to do a master action and place one piece here, great, awesome, done. Okay, so I'm going to get this piece over here as a reward. These are points, these are rewards. I'm going to take this, and now I got this piece back. This goes into my completed puzzles pile, and now we're on to turn 2. So now I have this, which I know I can place here, but I still want to optimize for a better turn, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get, for my first action, I'm going to take this one over here. Then I'm going to this is tough. You see, okay, I'm going to take this for my second action, and then I'm going to master action into this and this. And again, that was turn 2, and now I have this piece back as a reward, and I'm all prepped to put my small piece over there. Great, excellent. Okay, next turn. I'm going to go ahead, I think I can take one more puzzle because of the fact that I have these pieces coming. I'm going to go ahead and take this one for my action over here, and then for my actions, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and that's my master action over there. Okay, and I still have one action left because this time I only took one puzzle. So I'm going to get these back along with this. This is going to go over here, and then I can try to take another puzzle to set myself up. You see, I know I'm going to put this one over here for my next turn. I know I'm going to put this one over here, but the question is, do I want to do anything with this one? And I think I'm going to take this puzzle for my next action. Okay, next turn is going to come along, and I'm going to put this over here. This over here as my first action is going to be a master action, like so. And you can see how I know that I'm going to be using this reward to go here, and one of these to go here. So the action 1 was that. I get my reward, and then get my pieces back, and put these into my pile. Now right now I'm focusing on building my engine. The amount of points I have is only 2, but I'm building my engine over here. And then for my second action, I'm going to go ahead and put this here, and put this here, and my the second and third action. And then I get a piece as a reward. And you can see very quickly how this builds up into a tableau building game where you're trying to optimize around building up the right supply of pieces and then taking multiple master actions where you can slot pieces into boards very quickly. Because as you get to these higher level pieces that have greater rewards, if I have a 5-point puzzle, and in a game where the points are going to end up somewhere between 25 to like 40 depending on the player count, depending on a bunch of factors, getting 5 points is a big chunk of points. Now, if you can master action around getting perfect actions among these, look how many dots these have. These have 5 times 3, 15 plus 1. We have 16 dots, which effectively means if you can get 4 master actions of 4 pieces perfectly planted in there, you'll be able to slowly but surely build up a win by doing efficient master actions on these 5-piece puzzles. And that is basically how you play Project L. So that's basically how you play Project L. It's really very simple. The whole gameplay is very simple, and I think the biggest thing to drive home is this is not your typical Polyomino game. This is not a game where it's just about fitting pieces into a board. Rather, this is an engine building game that utilizes a Polyomino feel, which from there, let's go into the things I liked, what I liked about the game, what I didn't like, and what I can see being a problem for others. And to begin with, the component quality on this game is off the charts. The component quality is excellent. From these recess player boards, from what they're like, the way these little chiclets fit into the recess player boards, from the actual chiclets themselves, and I keep calling them chiclets because they keep making me think they're basically candy. The component quality in this game is excellent. I'd have to be pedantic and look for things to critique. Like I could, for instance, critique the fact that this board over here is flimsy, but it would only be because of how good the rest of the game is that I would even think to critique it for something like that. Overall, the production quality in this game is excellent. The pieces are adorable, they're shiny, they're pretty, I like them, I want to eat them. I'm going to start calling them candy. This is a problem. This is like the new Tide Pods. It's a little piece of candy. Secondly, teaching this game and playing this game both are excellent counts or times for those. Teaching, I can get this game up and running in 5 minutes. The game itself plays in a very reasonable time frame of anywhere between 15 to 40 minutes depending on the player count, but it does not outstay its welcome. If anything, what I have found consistently when I play this game is people want there to be more of those tiles, because these black back tiles are going to be the end game trigger. You're going to put a variable number of these in the stack in terms of depending on the player count, and then when those run out, the game end will trigger. And I consistently, when I play this game, I have people saying, can you put more of those in there? I want a longer game. So it for sure does not outstay its welcome. If anything, we tend to mod it a bit by whatever it calls for. Let's say we're playing a 3-player game and it needs 14 tiles. We'll say, you know what, let's just go to 18 tiles, just a little bit more game time. And we do enjoy that. So you can definitely mod the game time if you find it is too long or too short for what it is. And keep in mind, that will actually change the strategic depth of the game. The longer the game is versus the shorter the game is, it will adjust how your strategy will be most optimal in that game, going more for a quick finishing things off versus building up a better engine where you can master action to the victory. Additionally, it plays well with variable player counts, including, well, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I've played it with 5 yet, but it plays well with 2, 3, and 4 players. There is a module in terms of being able to play it with 4 or 5 players with a faster playtime, so it's not as much downtime. I have not tried that, so I can't comment on that, nor have I tried the solo mode, which there is one of those as well, so I can't comment on that either. But it does play well with variable player counts, and it has even more player counts that I haven't tried it with. This game is engine building. I like that the game is engine building. I like that this game is a divergent approach from a typical Polyomino game, and it's not about just grabbing a piece, fitting it into a slot, which I love, don't get me wrong. I love Polyomino games, I love that fitting it in, but this game is far more engine building than it is Tetris. It is about figuring out that optimal strategy of acquiring different pieces, spreading them into your slots in the most efficient way. Do you ramp it up quickly so you can get some upgraded pieces as fast as possible? Do you try to build out for efficient master actions where you can slot 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces into puzzles in a row? There's a lot of engine building decision to be made in terms of optimizing your decision around the game state, around the tiles you have, around the pieces you're getting. All of that, there's a lot of decisions to be made, and there's a decent amount of strategy behind those decisions. And lastly, speaking of the strategy, I'll note that the actions and optimization really do give you nuanced choices without a clear best option. It really is hard to know whether ramping up towards a particular tile is the best option versus building out those options versus the fact that, like I mentioned already, the game length is going to adjust based on how many tiles you put in there, as well as the player count itself, and that will change the strategy. It will change what is optimal in terms of putting those pieces on the board. And those things, those small adjustments in the game, really very much do adjust for what is the best strategy, and it's not immediately clear. As far as what I didn't like, there's really only one thing, but I will note, it is a big deal, which is this game is very samey. There's nothing that really differentiates the game from one play to the next. It's the same exact sequence every single time. It's obviously the order that the tiles come out will make slight adjustments. I'm not saying it's literally the same move, but the actual gameplay is the same game to game. This is a game where I can very much see it being, well, a little old the more I play it. I can see it being a game that I love for right now, that I keep pulling it out, and I have consistently been pulling out since I got it. It is easy to get to the table, and it's super appealing. But yet, I don't know if 20 plays down the road I'll still want to pull it out as much. Maybe I'll reserve it or save it for the occasional here and there, because it is good, don't get me wrong, but it's the same. There's nothing that differentiates it. Think of Baron Park. Baron Park has these little goal cards that say, well, do this, do that. I can see this game being better even with something as simple as saying, well, you know, have the most of this particular piece at the end of the board. Have the most 2-point puzzles at the end of the game. There are small adjustments you can make just in terms of goal cards that would shift and pivot what the game is actually like. Or perhaps there's things like giving up an action to get points. There's small adjustments you can make to the gameplay itself or to the goals you have that would make every single game slightly different. But for right now, I am worried that over multiple plays, my enjoyment of this game, my drive to pull it out, will go down. And that's the only thing that I don't like. But like I said, it is a big one. And lastly, in terms of what I can see being a problem for others, So first of all, and this one is a plus for me, but it can be a problem, especially if you don't know what you're expecting, this is not as much of a polyomino game as other polyomino games. Fitting your pieces into these small spaces is not as varied as one might think, and obviously there's a polyomino aspect, but this is far more of an engine builder than a polyomino game. To me, that's a very strong pro. Don't get me wrong, I like that. I like the fact that it gives me something different in that feel. At the same time, if that's not what you're looking for, then it's still good, it's still fun, it's still appealing, but it could potentially be a problem for someone else. And then lastly, and again only 2 in this category, but some pieces are better than others in this game, and that's something that I'm not going to go into which ones, but I can tell you there are clear pieces that will fit more consistently in one puzzle versus another, as opposed to the fact that they're not all equal, which is fine. That's more the condition of the fact that these puzzles are all very small and very defined, and so you can easily optimize out that certain pieces are more efficient. The reason it doesn't bother me is because everyone is still playing the same game. So what that you decide to grab one piece more than other players, that will fit into your strategy, and it's also not as easy as you might think. You do have to take actions to get specific pieces. At the same time, it is something worth noting that other people might feel that's an imbalanced aspect. Again, to me, not an imbalanced thing at all, because, like I said, it's just part of the game as far as I'm concerned. And from there to my final thoughts, I love this game. I think Project L is an excellent, excellent game. I think it is an excellent gateway game. I don't know how much it will hold up over time, like I already covered upon that, but basically this is a game that I'm happy to own. I do recommend picking it up. It is one that you can get people up and moving on this game right away and show them that games can still be fun for, I mean, it depends who you're playing with. If you're playing with a gamer, they already know that. If you're playing with someone new to the games, this is so easy to get to the table. It's so easy to teach. I am very happy to own Project L, and I look forward to whatever. I know they have a Kickstarter coming up with potentially more stuff, and I look forward to what they are adding, because like I said, for me, the only thing stopping this game from being like absolutely amazing is the fact that every game is the same, and I could see that very much being a problem over time. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and I hope you enjoyed this review of Project L. You can check out, I have another video on the Project L expansions coming right up.